What? Where is gold? What? No, what? So some search engine will pop up this, but find it for yourself. And look, this calls for wisdom. Okay, let's see what it says about wisdom. The mark of the beast. Revelation 13:18. The prophecies of John. Is that what it is? Well, so let's just go there straight. Revelation 13. Amazing. The beast out of the sea. Who knew? What? No, 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 no. There's no. We don't even know what's in the sea. That's why it's the Loch Ness monster and Moby Dick and the Bash serpent from Who Knew and this and that and that and bash. Nothing. So we boast about knowing nothing but enough to be experts, and then say we also don't know anything about our oceans. Nope. We assume. And just because we map the floor with Bash sonar and this and Bash, somehow we understand everything. We do. We do it all. We do it all, except somehow we don't even live underwater because the pressure is just too big. But go into space, no problem. We penetrate that space like nobody's business. In and out and in and out and in and out. And yeah, the vacuum is relentless, but we do it every day, bud. Don't worry. We got you. What a shame, right? It's just too hard to work underwater, to build cities underwater, and this and that. Yet they train in pools to work in space. Wow, how laughable. How laughable. And apparently, some Bash astronaut almost drowned to death because his suit overfilled with water. Who knew your suit needed to be Bash just relentless watertight in space because your urine or your Bash cooling device just has so much water in it that it will kill you in your helmet. It will Bash destroy you. But no. That's just a malfunction. Don't worry. We got you, bud. We built a better suit. Don't you know? Better. Always better. And yeah, some people will die at the expense of our failures and mistakes, but guess what? Nobody's perfect. Who knew? Who knew that's the doctrine of the beast? No, oh, this and that, always accusing us. Of course. Bestowing the shame, right? Of what? It's like, yes, do it your way, but also feel the bad shame of it. It's your fault. That's why you have to better always. Just get better. It's your fault. Didn't you know? It's your fault. It's your fault, bud. No, we have been deceived in the sense of, wow, we're working in equity because we're deceived. And only the truth maketh you free. Not some bash truther movement or this or that or the truth is, but no. You can see the knowledge of good and evil, but which is the wisdom of the Father? The only standard of goodness you could ever come to know, because his nature is in you. You're his creation. You're in his image and likeness. Who knew? No, it couldn't be. No, I come from some half-bash monkey, ape, mouse, bird, reptile, just you name it, under the sun. I come from that. I'm dust. And dust to dust, and I do agree with dust to dust, so therefore YOLO. right? The undescribable maximum gift of life. And then all of a sudden when you die, it's just bash gone. Just die. It's just a little sliver and then bash, it's gone. But only the ones in the living get to just experience the legacy of whatever was expressed in the living as long as we live. And this and that and this and this and that and that and this and that. So it's just you're born and then you bash learn a few things and then you bash die. And that's it. And that's it, people. Didn't you know? Amazing. That's so flawed that's why we need to tweak it and just make it go on forever with us and everyone who else is born. So let's make ourselves eternally eternal, but somehow don't worry about overpopulation, even though we say it's a crisis and this and that, because we'll all get to live synthetic lives, meaning not living at all. It's like not living it at all because you're bashed something else. You worshipped the proxy, the counterfeit, and it is as if you were never born, even though you said you had the experience of life. Well, who knew that you abused the gift of life and then just worshipped darkness and blackness forever? Do as thou wilt, and this and that, and change, and betterment, and this, all for progress of the world, so we can leave an earth for our future children. No. Life is nothing without love. A man is nothing without love. There's nothing greater than the love of the Father, unconditional, bringing forth life, regardless of whether we say it's good or bad. And this, and this, and this, and that, and this, and this, and that. So, what are we doing? Exactly. Who knows? But somehow it feels pretty good. I feel funny sometimes, and I just tweak it. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Wow, 7 heads and 10 horns. Who knew? And upon his horns 10 crowns. Wow. And upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Wow. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. So this is, modern day just mocks it. It's like man, bear, pig, and this and this and that, and nothing, 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 and smash, 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 and nothing. All just bash derivatives of the only thing that ever was and is prophesied to be and have been and is and will be forever. The resolve of the Creator. Who knew? But no, it had to just be bash, expansion, and then maybe contraction, and maybe bash, a bash explosion again, and then bash collision with another multiverses of plexus, and who knows? Hope for the best. Isn't it great, guys? Isn't it great to just bash, just think that you're living, creating, carving out some life, and then all of a sudden bash, it's all over. It's just, who knows? It's just bash gone. So just try to be your best. Try to be a decent person. Just obey some bash golden rule that you say you understand what it is and this, even though you will continue defiling and abusing yourself and others. Amazing. But all because you say you stand against certain platforms of policy and global betterment and what it is to be humanitarian and what it is to be for Gaia and for life, apparently. Wow. Just all abandoning yourselves. Just the desolate, lost child in the closet, dark, and it is cold and damp, and just calling out for his mother relentlessly. But no. Your mother went out bash drinking, or your bash mother went out hooking up, or your bash just left gone. And sorry, kid, you're with some bash babysitter. And she's probably going to invite people over and bash you. Who knew? But no, it's all good, bud. People are always good. People, 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 because people are just amazing. Basic goodness, basic goodness, basic goodness, based on some bash thing that basic goodness is the expression of life. Well, surely basic goodness means we're allowed to live and bash learn and then come back according to what we learned and just synthesized, alchemized, alchemicized, or whatever bash. No. What did we come to serve in the living? The only thing that ever was. Life, everlasting, the true promise. Man made a living soul through the breath of the Father that was breathed into him through his nose, through his nostrils. Who knew? But no, it had to be just, we're dust, and so we worship the dust. And then we're going to just bash the dust together and just make it so that it goes into us again, and then we bash our better somehow. Well, we're going to smash it and just backwards engineer everything. And bash just presented as novelty. Well, bashed. Right? Because you look at the sun and the moon, you're like, whoa. The two spheres that are at this distance and that distance apart from this bash other place that we supposedly live on and bash moving somewhere. But somehow it's just bash that. We know it, okay? And then we've gone to one of them. We've gone to one bash. And we've completed the orbit and come back multiple times. But we haven't since the 70s or some bash and this and this and that. And amazing. Still we boast. And we've sent just so many. Just ladles and ladles of bash robots and satellites and telescopes and bash things that just float somehow in space. Amazing. They're all out there just smashing, sending us bash messages, telling us what to do next. Wow, who knew? And it's just amazing and amazing and amazing and amazing and amazing and amazing and amazing. And all of a sudden, you say, I wonder what else I can back engineer. Everything. Yes, we do it. And you say, yeah, of course, we observe nature, and that's how we mimic. We're mimickers. Monkey see, monkey do. Don't you know, bud? Right. Because what? It just was bash nothing, right? And then all of a sudden it was that? Okay, let's do this then. Or just relentless trial and error. And you're like, yeah. There were generations that just bash didn't get it wrong. They got most things wrong. No, they had to get most things right, right? Evolutionary speaking. It's just bashed, right? You had to be doing things enough, just right, because how can you gauge if it's like too much? It has to be right every single time. Otherwise, well, because you know. So you do it, but then you deceive yourself and you say, okay, it's this, but wait a minute. You know what we're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing. But then they boast in their pride and how they're bettering. So, good luck, suffer and die. Yes, the ways of the world surely are death. Meaning, yes, do as thou wilt, you can do it better. And this, and that, I want, wow, right? So, his mouth was, what? Wow, amazing. Leopard, and his feet were bears, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. Who knew? And I saw one of his heads, one of the 7 heads. Wow, who knew? As it were wounded to death, just bashed and smashed into pulverines. And his deadly wound was healed. Wow. And all the world wondered after the beast. Wow. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. 3.5 years or whatever. Yeah. And he opened his mouth to blaspheme against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Just total defiance, total rebellion out in the light, right? And made manifestation. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go and smash all of them, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nation. So the beast was king, who knew? And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So all that worship the beast are exactly slain from the foundation of the world. They're slain. They're openly sacrificed for YOLO because they worship the beast. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Who knew? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Exactly. Because the truth cuts deeper than any fleshly bash sword that you could come to thrust through a man's chest. So surely if you believe in that world, that's justice, slaying a man through the heart and just bash saying, I win. No. You will be killed by the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Yes, because they will be slain relentlessly. The beast out of the earth. Wow, the titles and everything. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. The fauna, and this, Pan's Labyrinth, wow! And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Maketh come fire down from heaven. Wow. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. What? Nuclear blasts? What? How does it rain down fire from heaven? And this and this. Meteors? Wow, amazing. Who knew? But the beast does it. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword, and did live. And he that had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right, so it turns everyone against anyone who doesn't worship the beast. Just bash, kill them. To that level. Wow. The mark of the beast. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Here is wisdom. Who knew? Who knew that is written? Here is wisdom. Okay, so then, okay, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. Okay, so we count the number of the beast. Count it. What is it? Well, he that understandeth surely counteth not the number of the beast. How else would the truth equip a man, if not by bestowing understanding in him? That surely wasn't his bash, proud understanding of his image in the ways of the world. No, it's through the wisdom of the Father. Exactly. Here is wisdom. Here is wisdom. Not man's wisdom. No, wisdom of the Father, who surely has certainly spoken the resolve. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. 666, right? Who knew? No, 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 couldn't be. No, 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 no. Right? The Lamb is 144. Wow, amazing. This is amazing. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. 144,000 virgins, who knew? These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, no deceit. For they are without fault before the throne of God. Astounding. Astounding. Nope, there's no wisdom in this. Nope, no, it's just Bash words. It's surely poetry. It's mythos. It's mythology, guys. Didn't you know? What a shame. What a shame. Right? I mean, it has all been written. There is resolve. There is resolve. Who knew? But no, it couldn't be. It had to be no. Leave it up to the experts to decide something. Well, because a man can certainly come to know nothing, just how he's the best version of himself somehow. And you could do that just somehow on your own with all the bash knowledge you can say you've bash come to acquire and store and execute and this and this and this. No, what shame. Repent. The ways of man are flawed and folly, futile. Bash attempts at bestowing his way on earth, the doctrine of man's way, and how he's at fault for whether he destroys himself or somehow prevails. No, man on his own is destined to just destroy himself, for man does not exist on his own. Man was created. Hallelujah, amen. But no, man was just we're like the bash abortion of evolution. It's just bashing out versions of itself that, well, this one was the best abortion I ever had. Wow, what a shame. And there came one of the seven angels which had seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. The whore that sitteth upon many waters. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Adultery outside of the union with God. That's why God is jealous of those who worship other gods, other false idols. For he knows he is protecting. He is protecting. Why would you not want to, protect that which you created? In the sense, if you call your spouse, what, jealous? Oh, get over it, honey. I'm a man. I have instincts. Of course, I'm gonna bash lust for all women and this and this and that and that and that and this and this and that. No, what shame. What is jealous? Jealousy. Oh, I just trust my wife. I don't give a damn. She can do whatever she wants. I trust her. I'm not jealous at all. Right. That's what any bash fool says because surely women manipulate. They will bash make a man just bend, and all of a sudden a man becomes a woman, and he's bash checking their phone, and bash staking them out and following them and this and putting demands of you can't this and that and this because you bash. No, with shame. Surely a man knows nothing if he has to go out and do exactly what a woman does to a man. Because he's void, desperate, looking for some bash certainty exactly. For, I mean, surely it is correction. How does man protect something? He instructs, safety first, right? And bash this, blah, 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 training. So God could not possibly have, a resolve to his creation where he knew man would defy him in a way that's so just because God is just. He's ultimate justice, ultimate love. But no, you rather worship the supposed justice of the world and how unjust it is. No, the only injustice is your bash adoption, your embrace of the splintering dagger, the shank that just obliterates your jugular. But you shank it and you can't pull it out because otherwise you'll just bleed out faster. You want to die the slow death, please. I want to experience as much as I can. If I'm old, okay, then I'll say I can die. But I don't want to die when I'm young. And this and this. And exactly what makes you think that you're living at all in the sense of what is life? And what is it that any bash could say that they came to do or know or feel or experience? And you're like, whoa, life is amazing. But all of a sudden you're like, nah, it's just bashed. It's nothing. Wow, what a shame. What a shame. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And she's like, yes, drink it. It will purify you. It's the source of your strength. Pour it down your gullet. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots and abominations of the earth. But no, people just flock to bash the mystery schools and bash the occult and bash the abominations, right? Because somehow they were hidden, so that means that whatever we live is oppressing them. So, that's the actual enlightenment. Let's carve it out. Let's bring it out from the shadows and bring it to the light. And this and this and that, but all while you will smash, and it's almost like bash murdering people and put in graves, and then all of a sudden they bring their child to the gravesite, and they're like, here's a shovel, sweetie, why don't you dig a garden? And then bash, they make the child dig them up, and the child is like, whoa, and there's bones, and bash remains, and bash is just traumatized, and all of a sudden the bash whispers were saying, well, what is it? And then the bash child is like, oh no, it was my dad. No, they were murdered and this, and about the other bash, this, the other bash. Devastation. Right? What is going on? Leading yourself into the bash trap that just snaps again and again. The mystery explained. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee these mysteries of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which had the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not. What? It was and is not. Oh, it was and is not. So was the beast, right? Wow. When they behold the beast that was and is not currently. So if when they say, "Well, when they behold the beast," that was, but somehow is not today, and yet is exactly. So that's today. I mean, that's the which Satan has to execute. How does he deceive man from the true promise? There's only one way to deceive out of that false promise for something that you mistook for that which is, but is not, and was, yet is. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. 7 mountains. Wow. On which the woman sitteth. 7 heads, 7 mountains. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is. And the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was, and is not, even he is the 8th, and is one of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And you say, "Whoa, why is it so bad? It's a riddle of riddles." And you say, "No, I don't understand everything 100%. And you're like, "Yes, I do. And this and this and that and this and this. And that. Wow." And you're like, "Nope, there's no wisdom in this. It's just bash poetry. It's just like Shakespeare. Shakespeare just wrote like this, and they were bash following formulas and this and this and that. Illuminated. They were just illuminated somehow. Amazing." No, what shame. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. Wow. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Wow. The victory of the Lamb. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Exactly. The Lord is calling. For those are they that are with him. So who knew that people worship frequencies and they're like, "Oh, I'm a frequency, blah, 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 blah. I have to just tune myself up to the universe." Right? So you reject the call of God in life, the true living God. And he said unto me, "The water which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, and are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues." Of course. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest in the city, in that great city, which reigneth over the kingdoms of earth." So that woman is the city, the great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. The oceans of the Bash. People call it sheeple, and this just the masses, right? Mob mentality and this. No, what's going on? Colombia. Try it. There is something, of course. It is all wisdom. The wisdom of the Father, the Creator, through His saving word. Who knew the truth, the way, and the life? Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to Him. The rider on the white horse then comes, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought the miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. Meaning the image that people are relentlessly chasing the dragon of their past dreams and this and that and past best versions of themselves and this. Wow. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and of the fowls were filled with their flesh. Well, who knew? The sword of the truth. And I saw so again, look, and he laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Amazing. A great seal was put upon him, so that the nations would not be deceived by Satan until the 1,000 years would be fulfilled. And then he would be loose for a season, little season. And I saw a throne, and they sat upon them, and the judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads, or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Amazing. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Wow. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and encompassed the camp of the saints about to solve them. And the beloved city, and fire came down from God of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Exactly. Amazing. And so, what is this? Right? 666. What is this? In geometry, an equilateral triangle is what? Look, it's just equal. Bash, 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 equal. Perfect. It's a perfection, people. It's just so equal. That's the true justice, everyone. Look, true justice. Just equity, equal everything. Equal wage, equal pay, equal salary, equal this, equal that. Bash, it's everything. Look, it's just amazing. 666. This is surely the image, the knowledge that is required for you to worship the image of the beast. And when the rider and the white horse cameth down and slayed those who made war with him, those who worshipped the image of the beast, they had no need for God anymore because they had ultimate wisdom through, you guessed it, this. Because what is that? What is it exactly? Apparently this. The divine masculine and divine feminine. And this. Exactly this. Two triangles, bash, mirrored, and bash come down and forms a bash new geometry, and it's fractals and it's everything combined, and it's just so sacred. Wow, look at all this bash imagery linked to that bashhood. The yin and the yang, of course. This infinity sign somehow. Wow, who knew? What is going on? Right, the bash 2666. What is going on? The infinite symbol. And then you say, well, no, carbon. Don't you know? It says it's the number of man. No, it says the number of a man. It's not the number of man. It's the number of a man. 6. So he who understands can count the number of the beast and say, okay, that's the beast's work. That's what those are the fruits of the beast, of the worship of the beast and its image and everything it bash entails. Who knew? But no, to you it's just so mysterious. So mysterious. People just are clueless. There's no such thing. It's just mockery now. It's under the sun. Is it? Is it mockery? How does one was and okay, it's just amazing. Yeah, Satan hid himself out in the open, in the sense of making man believe that what man's discovering is what it is. He's discovering what it is because he's worshiping the tiny image that's just changing and shape shifting somehow because he didn't know anything. He's just living off the end point of the evolutionary line. Who knew? Somehow he has to figure it all out somehow. But hurry up because you're kind of late. You're kind of late for a very important date. Right, so how do you become one that is, but it was, and is, yet is? So was is not, but yet is. Right, exactly. Satan. Satan. Convincing you that it's not real. It's just haha. You can make relentless movies and shows and things about it because it just means nothing. It means nothing. It could mean, hey, everybody, you're the carbon. It's this atomic number 6, and this and that and that. But carbon 12. Who knew? And it has 4 electrons available to make covalent bonds. Who knew? And it jumps electrons, and it can become an isomer, and this and that and that. Who knew? And the mirror, and this and that. As above, so below, and this and that. Exactly. You say, exactly. The bash, divine masculine, divine feminine. The 2 triangles inverted, mirrored, and then bashed together and fused. Right? This. So it's 2 of these just fused together, and somehow it's bash amazing. Is God a tetrahedron? You bash type that into the tetrahedron exactly, and the tetrahedron just bashes this out. God code deciphered. Wow, really amazing. Because the tetragrammaton in Hebrew is the four-letter biblical name of the God of Israel. While there is no consensus about the structure and etymology of the blah blah, no consensus. Just bash confused. Just bash confused, but somehow you're so evolved to the point of creating some bash dust that's gonna blast you through the ball of gas you call the sun to another bash galaxy formation of starports of wormholes that would just make you appear in Saturn somehow. In and out and in and out. The cube. The cube, people. Don't worry about that tetrahedron. It's the cube, people. It is and that, right? Aram is a region mentioned in the Bible located in present-day Syria, including where the city of Aleppo now stands. At its height, Aram stretched from the Lebanon mountains eastward across the Euphrates, including parts of the Kabul River valleys in northern Mesopotamia on the border of Iraq. Syria. So who is Syria? Who are the four? What are the four B's? What? No. There's somehow just multiple religions on Earth, the main ones, but somehow it's just amazing. And one of them looked like a dragon, no, face of mouth of a lion, a bash feet of bears, a bash leopard, a bash whoa, just hybrids of hybrids. What's going on? And what had a bash horn? Two horns. The fauna and this and this and that. What's going on? And then you look back at all the gods of mythology, right? And you say, exactly. It was just, it was just, it's just nothing. Everybody just had their bash way of interpreting life that they just bash came up with different stories to explain life somehow. But they all just abused life anyway and continued and continued and continued. So what remains? Life, right? And this, right? And the seven bash Medusa and this, and you say, oh, exactly. They talk about a seven head Medusa, right? Who knew that the tongues were confused? When man created the Tower of Babel, who knew? So they created bash stories of something that they were all living. And you say, oh, it's just, no, it's just simple. They confuse their language. And look, exactly, look. What is this? Exactly, the beast. Look, right out in the open. It's right there. We're out in the open, just bashed. Right there. Somehow. But no. It's enlightenment. It's truth. It's truth, people. Don't you know? And all the imagery. Because you worship it, right? Whether it's, oh, yeah, it's these guys' fault. It's Illuminati. You still worship it. Or if you're like, no, it's about truth. Look, this is what this symbol means. It has been co-opted and this and this and this and infiltrated, but truly, it means this, guys. What a shame. It couldn't be that you're in the image of God and God knows your heart. He sees beyond the light of the Bash sun. He knows He is the life. He is the source, omnipresent, omnipowerful. Just omniscient, omnipotent, everything, all of it. And yet He made man a living soul. Who knew? And He created light. Who knew? And His creation has resolve for anything that could happen. Did happen. Is happening. There's nothing new under the sun. There's only resolve. So what do we align with? What do we bend our need to? Who do we worship? Who do we bow down to? The one authority, yes. Not some bash god of the ocean, right? The beast of the ocean that came out and said, oh, I'm smashing. My head was smashed, but now I'm smashing. He came out of the multitudes. What is going on? Who are all these bash gods of supposed ancient mythology? And there's so many, I can't even count them. There's so many. Could it be that just as much as there's relentless books in chapters, there's just the same book, deception, relentless derivatives of the same bash story that give you the illusion that somehow we don't know anything. But I like this version of the story, and that's why I follow that series and this and that and that and this and that, but nothing. Smashed. No. Right? Because it's life and death, right? Life and death. And look at the bash imagery associated with it. Life and death. To you is life and death. You live and then you bash die. And the predator comes and bashes you. And then it's just nothing. It's just, nope, just gone. So better just be grateful in the living and bash. Just try and get as much friction as you can. And this and this and that and that and this and smash. Because what's the shadow? You're like, oh no, it's the shadow, man. The shadow governments and this and that, right? So you believe in an invisible hand, but where does the invisible hand end? Does it end with one dude saying, haha, I was behind it all? No. Surely the invisible governments and the shadow governments everybody bash believes in. What? What do you think is the whispers and the murmurs of false promise? Yes. Destruction, death, theft. All justified through false promise. Of fleshly rewards. In it to win it. This and that. Surely you can do it better. And wow. You better do it before somebody else does it. You have to be the first. You have to be the greatest. Number one. Or you just have to be a team player and just lead the way. Be the relentless leader. Exactly. Lead people into what? Deception. Right? You lead them into captivity, you will be captive. Exactly. Lead somebody into captivity. And that's what everybody's living. We're leading ourselves into bashhood, the permanent enslavement, the permanent the permanent separation from God. And everyone's testing God day in, day out, saying, I have life. See, there's no God. I can go out and do whatever I want and see, God doesn't strike me down in this and this and that. No. Who knew that that's the unconditional love of the Father that you don't understand? But instead you go and search some batch version of unconditional love of the world that will just turn its back on you on a dime. And don't worry, you'll just become a better beacon of bash truth apparently, but no, you're just a little bit more bitter, and a little bit more cynical, and this, but somehow, no, you're just smashing harder. And you'll find some bash that's just had the same amount of bash just smashed against them, and surely you'll find some satisfaction in saying, well, at least I found this bash. No, what shame. What are people doing? Just trying to just have some piece of the pie. Just little crumbs. I just want at least $50K a year. That's so I don't have to be poor. I don't want to be poor. Who wants to be poor? Being poor is just stupid, right? It's so archaic. We can surely just get rid of it. What is poverty? Poverty outside of God, meaning, wow, you see yourself to be void, desolate, just bashed. That you have nothing, right? No worldly bash possessions or accumulations or bash little numbers and screens that say, okay, I'm not poor. Or all of a sudden it's like, sir, your card has been declined. You are poor. Please follow me to the next bash exit where you'll just be cast into the ocean. Okay, good luck. You'll probably find a plastic island somewhere that you can just begin to make soil out of, and hopefully you can make something from nothing. Don't worry, bud. You got it. We all winners started somewhere too. We all have trauma, so why didn't you try harder, bud? Sorry, you're just poor. Get out of here. Right? And this and this and that and that. It was your fault. You damn it, you alcoholic, and this and this and that. Or you bash nothing. You never had ambition. Or this and this and that. Wow, you have so much talent, but wow, You just womanize it away, or you just bash corrupted this, or you just bash thought the grass is rubbernecking everywhere and greener or somewhere, wherever. Just go relentlessly experience life. Wow, what a shame. That is surely Satan. Doing what? Well, surely doing shadow work. And you say, well, I'm shadowing. I'm just mimicking what I'm going to become. I'm job shadowing. I'm an apprentice. Apprentice of what? No, nothing. Either one knows and just surrenders their pride, humbles themselves in the sense of, yes, the truth humbles you regardless of whether you like it or not. But exactly, most people reject truth because no, it's not possible that this something so it's just a shape, man. Give it up, buddy. And you say, well, look at all this knowledge. What does this knowledge entail? And you say, oh, it's progress. It's progress. It's Pythagoras and this, and it's all the meanders of philosophy and lovers of Sophia. But don't worry, Sophia is just a word. It was not an actual bashed girl or woman or whatever. She was the divine feminine, and this, and the goddess of this, and the goddess of that. Oh, right, because what is wisdom? The only knowing. Life with God forever. Yes, the true promise. And everything in it that alloweth a man to endure the sufferings of the world in his own bash chaotic reality of doubting God. All because he was given the promise. He was beguiled to just be better. Do it better. Follow the light and you can do it better. Follow this and you can do it better. But somehow there's no such thing as perfection. Nope. Everything's just bash flawed. But the image will tell you that there is perfection. Look, it's equal. Look, this tells you that it's equal, right? It couldn't be that life tells you that it's equal. What is the only justice ever? God, who knew? Not this bash, equal distance and equal angles and all these smashes of correlations upon correlations of Harry Potter math. You guessed it. And you'll say, well, it does have nothing to do with the masculine and feminine attributes, but even though bash, no, it's all occult knowledge, meaning the whispers and murmurs of Satan and all his minions and all the bash angels that taught man bash this and somehow said, this is the way, guys. And you better fight amongst yourself if this is the shape of how you're going to crush your heart into magnitudes of being able to lift mountains because you did it yourself. You have just straightened that kundalini up so much and bent and contorted in so many different ways that your body's just going to respond to you and say yes. No, what a shame. What a shame. What a shame. Because you're surely in the shadows where Satan works. And then you bring it out into the supposed light that's under the sun, supposedly. No. Abusers of life. Stealers. Defilers. Robbers that come and dash and take your soul. But no, apparently you're just living the best life that you ever could, and you're just, oh, leave me alone. No, exactly. Tormented by emotion, have no certainty. Desolate. Your identity is everything. For surely your certainty is poor, zero, lacking. You have been weighed and found lacking. Or found wanting, right? You want. You're found. Everybody is just desolate, wanting something, longing, wanting, for what? Betterment. Why can't things be better? Because people are doing this. That's why. But the boulder is about 1,000 times bigger. And this guy never made it up any hill. But this guy will tell you he did. It's all just bloodbath. Everybody's just bloodbath, and people think that they're rising above, but what they're really doing is just apparently climbing over all the bloodbath of their brethren and saying, "Oh, I'm staying afloat somehow. I'm floating with it that comes and steals little children's dreams and tortures them in their own fear." What a shame. That's what Satan does. And that's how Satan convinces you that you're alone and that you can be abused and defiled and that there is no loving God that cares about you because you've suffered so much and you've just been bashed and the flesh has been sliced and diced and decapitated and bashed, turned inside out so many times by man's hand that exactly there's no such thing as love. That's why you have to go out there and carve out your own version of love in however way you get off and then say, yes, I belong here. And I respect others and bash, and this and that. But somehow we're all just one people and we're just all here gonna just shape shift into the new eco green way of just harmonizing into the next plethoras of bashes. No. You have stole the dreams. Stolen dreams. That's what you are, a pipe dream. The pipe dream that thought it could. The little steam engine of self-esteem that thought it could. Could what? Live his version of life and abuse the life given relentlessly, worshipping himself and no one else. And through himself is the third eye, which is, you guessed it, the mark of the beast. So therefore you worship the wonders and mysterious shape-shifting ways of the beast, because the image of the beast is through the knowledge of all that the beast represents, meaning all any bash mystery occult teaching has ever been. It's sorcery, wizardry, bash, everything to come and manipulate the image, meaning what you see. So are we counting? For surely the number of the beast is 666. Who knew? And if it was and is not, yet is, surely in the years of reign of Christ with man, and then Satan released, Satan knows he only has a short time, so he has to go on steroids with the same lie. But it had to be the most magnificence of a pleasing and just enticing image that man would just surely could not resist. In the sense of those who want to do as thou wilt will embrace it fully to the point of turning on its own kind, to slaying. Slaying man for a notion of idea of progress, that somehow by slaying you're going to progress into your own way without God. There is no God. I am my God and this. No, what a shame. Repent. For Satan's time is only a little while. And what you think is, well, my life could end tomorrow. No. Satan's time surely will end. And where do we stand? What are we in alignment with, in the sense of what have we given our heart to? What is our first love? Do we see the saving word as truth, the way in life? Or do we deny it and choose to listen to our own words and whispers and bash things that we call thoughts and ideas that are all pushed and response programs executed in your brains, just saying, yes, follow me, I will give you the rewards of the world. Don't worry about God. He may or may not be true, but listen, you're here already, so just do whatever you want. And when you die, well, you'll figure it out then. What a shame. Leading people into captivity, just responding to multiples of ways of an abused soul. We're abusing that which was given to man. But we say, well, growing pains. That's what it is. We're going through the growing pains of just metamorphosizing. Because evolution got us to this point biologically, but now it must be non-biological and symbiosis. It's when the non-biological meets the biological, completing the where we came from. Because non-living material gave life to life, to living material somehow. Ooh, so now it's just going back to the same place, and it's going to smash us and make us amazing. Wow, no. What a shame. All the shadow, because where does the shadow end? And where does it begin, right? You're like, a shadow is just you're blocking the light. And this and this and that. Shading. And this and that. Right, but still, what is light? Is a source. And you're like, the source is the sun. Where does what made the sun? Where did it come from? What is this? Well, the Big Bang ultimately, right? It goes back to that and this. But now it's the multiverse. It's everything. And it's just there. It was just always there. And this, it just shapes and this and that. What a shame. What's going on? But look, surely it is a source, the absence of light, a shadow. So the absence of the light borders and this. It infringes on what? That which is the source. So do you look at the bash image and say, oh, I'm darkness. Look, I have to shine my light in it to match the light that's around me? No. Everybody's just following the bash shadows. Following the bash false promise into the shadows, where then you're defiled and made a fool. But then you get better somehow. You learn from your mistakes and bash. All of a sudden, you're just so successful, being rewarded. Sucky, blah, material goods, gain, position, blah, pushing the same bash thing day in, day out. Groundhog Day, and somehow it's amazing. But somehow you say, no, well, I do love my wife and my kids. Well, they put me through hell, but they're great. I'm doing my best. No. What is life? What is being instilled? What is being lived? What is being lived? If you cannot see that it's purely deception and that man has fallen, succumb, and is just waiting to execute the order of just mass desolation. Because he believes so much in the future of the image that he worships, that he will do anything to preserve it. Self-preservation. So that his supposed future won't be damaged or hindered in any way. For his children surely deserves a life better than that he lived, right? And this. There's nothing greater than life. Life is already given. What are we doing in it? What are we worshipping? Where does our servitude lie? Are we hanging ourselves or swinging on swings? Hanging, swinging, or does it the light in the dark? But nothing. For surely it's life, and then you go and hang yourself. Oh, no. It's life and death. No, what a shame. It's life in in worship of God, or life in worship of desolation. Who knew? Who knew it would be that? This exactly discernment, and you say, well, exactly. There's truth, and it's just your truth though, and then some other person, it's their truth. So nobody had any clue ever, and it's just some bash relative truths that just mean nothing, and that's why you just become this old bash and just carve out. That just slays you, turns you into a horse, and all of a sudden you're bash born again somehow, and death does it for you. And then the woman, because death is somehow bad, the woman just bursts. It's about the infinite. Okay, this Satan, right? Satan. This is Satan's imagery. Satan's imagery, the image of the beast, and all of it, the doctrine of death, that which leads you. But you call it knowledge and wisdom, and somehow it's allowed us to back engineer all these things that have made us amazing. Who knew that those are the false toys and the bash false ways of worshiping the beast and executing what it tells you to do next, and where we're going, and where it is that we're getting bashed with the bash miracles that we're performing somehow. But no, it's always there's no lie different than the only lie that ever was, making you believe that there is such a life outside of God. Wow. A better life at that. Wow. Because surely the life that you have right now is just desolate and bashed, and God doesn't even give a damn about you because you forsake you. No, what a shame. Everyone has the gift of life, and yet they complain, defile, and bash, blaspheme against God because their bash disease or bad, they didn't get what they wanted, or bash somebody they love died. Right? Oh, you don't know what love means. What is? Identifier of just comfort with that which is around you, including people and things and this and this. And you say, well, I cared about them. I knew so much about them and this and this and that and that and that. No, it's just empty without them. No, you're empty without God. That's why you're bashed, desolate, and void. Anything around you that changes, you're the OCD. No, now I can't manipulate it anymore. Oh, OCD, anxiety, crush, 12 steps to overcome. Right? No. Repent. All man's ways are bashed, for he is deceived. He has negated God and created a whole image to prove himself right in moving forward without God and slaying anyone who gets in his way. Who knew? And there's no such thing as Satan. There's no such thing as the 1,000 years of reign of Christ with man. No, there's no such thing as Armageddon, and there's no such thing as Bash, the actual slaying that took place, and this and this, and the 1800s were just the 1800s, and the 1900s were just the 1900s, and the Bash wars of Bash, all the countries of Bash nations before were this and this and that year, this and that, because it's the image. And it was written, and there's Bash libraries and historians and experts that have told us all about it, and it just makes perfect sense. But none of those Bash books and Bash me are as accurate as all the Bash manuscripts that compile and make up the biblical canon. All the books of the Holy Bible. No historical account is as accurate as all the manuscripts combined, telling the story and everything that's within the books of the Bible. And you're like, no, that's not true. Who cares? Fine. Then suffer and die and be this, because the truth is everywhere. But the lie is deceiving you relentlessly, making you believe that what is not, yet is, and was, right? The same old lie of forever. Creating abominations and this and just Bash fornications. Apparent creations of them with anything goes. And statues and all these things that were created, right? Because it came out of the water, and then his Bash head was Bash just damaged. So it's one of the mountains was bashed, or the peak, right? And you say, well, exactly. Illuminati, look, right? So one of the Bash heads of a mountain was bashed, and now it was healed. It was put back together. What is going on? And it's up to you to put it back. That's when pure enlightenment, or no, it's the top families and this and that. Look, right in your face, right in your face, right again. 666, and it's not their bash AOK sign. That's just a name. That's a trigger, though. But look, it's just old occult. This is the knowledge of Satan, the knowledge of good and evil, making you believe that you are the synthesis just because you can see it, and apparently, supposedly live it. No, Eric, what you experiencing is a trauma of living a life outside of God. For surely you have no certainty. For surely only the wisdom of the Father alloweth one to endure the traumas of the ways of the world, because we're born into them and we are sinned against by the defilers and the abusers of life. So we must forgive them and overcome the world and love God with all your heart. Forgive as the Father has forgiven mankind. And just in manifesting his only begotten Son, so that he would lay his life down and rise again. In justice, right? To pay for the atrocities and abominations of man. He endured the pain and the suffering that man deserved for all his works against God, his doing. So, what are we doing believing that we have to be the ones that take us to the next betterment? Exactly. Satan. Always, accusing us in face of the Father and saying, look at all what they do. Look, blah, 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 blah. And exactly. God knows our hearts. It's only been the only time to repent. Every day is the time. That's what it was. The resolve for man to live with God forever. So does man see it, or does he just worship the beast? As he did once before, and now look at us. Return to the Father. Amen.